On a quiet summer evening of June 21, 2023, a tragedy occurred in the small town of Los Angeles. Mrs. Melanie was shot and killed by her 11-year-old daughter, Maria. This seemingly unlikely story has left many people questioning and reflecting about the tragedy and why it happened. Investigations have been conducted for the purpose of understanding the events behind the shooting and to build a more complete picture of the young girl and her mother. Maria and her family had recently moved to Los Angeles from a foreign country a few months prior. Reports suggest that the family had just recently been reunited after many years of separation. Maria had started attending school in mid-June, and it was noted that she was having difficulty adjusting and was struggling to fit in. Her mother, Mrs. Melanie, was noted to be a loving and supportive parent, but was also strict and had certain expectations of her daughter. On the day of the shooting, Maria had arrived home late from school around 2:30 p.m. It is surmised that the events of the day, her difficulties at school, her mother's expectations of her, and the general stress of adjusting to a new home away from her native land contributed to the tragedy which took place soon after. Reports suggest that Mrs. Melanie, unaware of the troubles her daughter was going through, reprimanded her for coming home late and attempted to discipline her further by taking away certain privileges. When Maria refused, her mother reportedly threatened to punish her further, which is when the young girl took out a gun and pointed it at her mother. In her shock and disbelief, Mrs. Melanie pleaded with her daughter, but it was too late. Maria reportedly shot her mother 3 times in quick succession. Mrs. Melanie was taken to a local hospital where she was pronounced dead an hour later. In the aftermath of the shooting, Maria was taken into custody and an extensive investigation was conducted. Through psychological evaluations and interviews with family, friends, and neighbors, it was concluded that Maria's shooting of her mother was a reaction to the combination of factors which included a fear of her mother's judgment and the unbearable stress of having to adjust to a new environment. The story of Maria and Mrs. Melanie is one that has caused a public outcry about the nature of childhood and the overall health of the family. The tragedy serves as a reminder to parents of the need to be aware of the struggles and difficulties facing their children and to be mindful of their reactions and behaviors.